105 kilo class that we'll be focusing on this first visit to the convention hall today. 105 kilos, 231 pounds, 16.5 stone, David Goldstrom, together with David Morgan. Those the world records at senior and junior level. Well, these are the men who are going to contest that 105 kilo championship and the body weights that they recorded within the past 2 hours. Dennis Gottfried there, bottom of that first page, the defending world champion. Vladimir Smorchkov, also world champion 2 years ago. Well, David, getting to the tail end of the championships, but I think it's fair to say the longer it's gone on, the better it's got, certainly in terms of the quality of lifting.
That's right. A lot of failures earlier on in the championship, but things seem to be sorting themselves out now.
Well, before we get to the action, this is the result of the performances in terms of medals, that is, over the week prior to today. And you can see there China once again rampant at the top of the medal table. So, Doleja, this is Robert. There are two brothers, Robert and Marcin, and Robert is the older of these two Polish brothers. Moved up in weight class, and interesting to see how these two brothers fare now they're actually fighting each other. As I said, we've got the world champions of the past 2 seasons up, we've got the European champions of the past 2 seasons, and also 5 of the top 10 in the world ranking coming into this competition. 9 of the lifters are from Europe, 1 from the Middle East, so not as universal as one might have hoped for, but that's a decent enough start here by Robert Doleja.
It's 180.
180, yes, sorry, I was pausing, catching my breath there.
Yes, so as the body weights get heavier, so do the weights on the bar. 180 kilos, that's 396 pounds. So we're already almost on the 400-pound mark in this snatch phase, and still in the very early stages of the A final.
So Sudas now for Turkey. When you think of Benjamin Sudas or Bunyamin Sudas, you always think of it again like so many of the Turks. If he gets a good start, David, he might be in with a chance. Well, that's what we wanted to see. Good lift to get his campaign underway, and Sudas also with 180. It's pretty tight class, David, just 12.5 kilos spread from the 10 lifters, 430 kilos, the highest enter total I've got from Assad of Qatar, and Matti Steiner, the young Austrian, 417.5. But 12.5 kilos is not a lot, so that would suggest this is quite an open affair. Interestingly, the world standard for this 105 kilo class yet to be achieved, 400 kilos, but Doleja, not the Robert Doleja that you've seen, but his younger brother, is actually the holder of the world snatch record and the world total record, both at senior and junior level. But the clean and jerk world record of 242.5, the standard, has not yet been achieved. So I don't know, maybe we'll see someone get close-ish to that today. That's Matti Steiner of Austria just in picture there. So Pizarevsky, bar going up to 182.5 kilos for this 27-year-old, ranked 8th in the world coming into these championships. And this is a steadier start. Well, now what's happening?
Timed out. We've seen this happening quite a lot this week, haven't we? Athletes being timed out. Of course, you have a minute from when you're to the platform, when you're called immediately. Yeah, when the bar's as soon as the bar's loaded, you're called, and from that point you have 1 minute, and lots of athletes seem to be timed out.
Well, you know, I think it's because Steiner again put the weight up. What was Steiner going to go for? Was he going to go for?
No, he had 182.
He
posted,
did.
yeah.
Well, the warm-up room is not that far away, so really that sort of mistake shouldn't happen. So, not a good start for the Russian.
Interesting youngster. Father has been competing in the Masters weightlifting and has won 18 world titles over the last 18 years. So very much a family affair.
Yeah, the other interesting fact for this lad is that he has to do his sport whilst also dealing with diabetes. He was diagnosed in 2000, so shades of Sir Steve Redgrave. You know, that's 6 injections a day. Good lift. And he does have this distinction, this young man. He's only 21, of being the first Austrian lifter to actually total 400 kilos. But as you said, all the inspiration from his dad, Fred, or Friedrich, as I should correctly call him. And he's been really busy this year. He's had a lot of competitions in the Austrian Bundesliga, as we see Pisarevsky out to try and make amends for that lost opportunity. And when he came out the first time, David, Pisarevsky, I was going to make the point that I thought this was a fairly modest start. And he snatched 185 and 192, and he's aspiring for a total of 420. So he might have to take a few more kilos on the third attempt, assuming he gets this, which he has. So that's good.
So annoying to get timed out.
Well, it's one thing to fail a lift, but to lose the opportunity through, a kerfuffle and a mix-up is really silly. He's been around, as I said, he's 27, so he's been competing in the World Championships for a while. Won the World Student Championships back in 2000. And now Alan Chigeev, I think one of my favorite lifters, this guy who was actually, unusually, David, he was a Russian and then went to Bulgaria. It's usually Bulgarians who get exported or purchased or transferred to other countries like Qatar. And we've got one of those in the lineup, Asad Saad Saif, or Angel Popov, as he was known when he was lifting for Bulgaria, but yet to see him start. But this is the 26-year-old Bulgarian, pretty close to success. World silver medalist last season and world European silver medalist this season.
Well, I was just about to say that was a good start, but lost it right at the last moment. So did all the work. Yes, known for his strength in the clean and jerk. Very, very strong in the second
phase.
Part of the competition.
And just going back early in the day, David, Ferenc Gjurkovic of Hungary, the best from the B division, actually snatched 187.5 kilos. Clean and jerk 217.5 for a total of 405. So that's the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak. And here's Robert Delejo. Still his brother Martin to begin, but here is the older of the two. Robert's 25, Martin's 21. World student champion, Robert, for the current season. Won that in Pavia in Italy earlier in the year. And really is way ahead of that. I mean, he only snatched 172.5 kilos in Italy, so that's this is a hugely improved performance here from the older brother. Mind you, in the student championships, not pushed to the same degree.
No, he's done more in the past.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Sudas, 7th at the last Olympic Games.
Yeah, this is right personal best. He's been doing this weight for quite a while, 185, and always been struggling to to get past it.
Well, when he finished second to Schwarzkopf 2 seasons ago in the Worlds in Antalya on his own home Turkish stage, this is what he snatched, 185.
Well, that's good, because he normally fouls with it on his second and then sort of pulls it back on his third. He's achieved the 185 on his second, which means he's got a chance to now move forward and go for, at least go for a new personal best. And for my money, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, I think there's another 2.5 kilos there, for sure. And again, this is another man whose real strength is in the second phase of the competition. So if he can get a good snatch in, he can be dangerous. So
I suggest, you know, maybe by playing conservative, get as many kilos, keep yourself as close as you can, might be the prudent thing to do.
For sure.
Steiner, yeah. a little concerned, shall we say, this Austrian, but you know, first lift was good. Now 185. Comes from Bregenz in the Vorarlberg, in the west of the country, pretty close to the Swiss and German borders.
Oof. Now I'm wondering if that was a near elbow dislocation. Yeah, he did very well to actually get away with that. Yeah. And if we see it in slow motion, we'll probably see just how close he came.
Yeah, but he let go of it just in time. What arm here.
Oof. Yeah. Well, that could have been quite nasty. Still shows good flexibility to be able to go through that and come out the other end with an intact elbow.
Talking of flexibility, talking to Mark Huster, a colleague of the German commentators, he was talking a little earlier on about how Elico prepare and test and check these bars are up to world class by putting 1,000 kilo weight.
That's right, they fix each end of the bar and then they put 1,000 kilos right in the middle and then they retest it and see if it's dead straight, and if it is, it passes the test.
Now Chagayev already on a bit of a rescue mission here. No use all that power in the clean and jerk if you don't stay in touch on the snatch.
Oh, well, exactly the same problem as he did as the first time. Snatched it well and then lost it on standing up.
That's pretty extraordinary for him. I mean, he can do 190, David, you know, without any problem.
Yes, I don't think it's strength today. I think his technique is just slightly off.
Yeah, that big. Yeah, he's just. Yeah.
Maybe he should have just stayed in that bottom position and just checked it before standing.
Well, he's got to work himself out now because, you know, he's only got one more attempt to stay in the competition. Now, Steiner, well, he's in the competition because he's got the first lift away, but he needs to try and see whether he can get...
Well, it'll be interesting how he deals with this, because the way that he fell that way is a big psychological knock. I mean, to lose that, almost take your elbow out, you know, it's really a psychological game now. He knows how heavy this is, and to give it 100% again like he did on the first one is tough.
Oof. What I find interesting, David, is that, you know, obviously he's prepared for it, he knows what he's capable of doing, but he hasn't actually lifted any more than 180 all season.
So he's going for it.
So he got 182.5. You know, he went very well in the first lift.
Says something about his attitude, though, to be able to miss a lift and almost take your elbow out and then still come on the third attempt and you know, go for it, obviously 100% again. It takes some doing. So this man needs this lift to stay in the competition.
And I didn't think, particularly as early as this, I'd be looking at a real contender, David. I mean, we're talking, as I said, we're talking about the world silver medalist of last year in Warsaw behind Dennis Godfried, and a European silver medalist behind Razorianov, the other Ukrainian, in Lutraki last April. Now 185. I mean, that's what he snatched on both those occasions on his way to collecting those championship medals.
He just needs to stay in that bottom position, just check himself before he stands this time. Oof, well,
there's a you know, I mean, a huge disappointment and a huge piece of frustration there for Chagayev, because again, David, as we've said all week here, only totals earn you Olympic qualifying points, and Chagayev would you know, with all the problems the Bulgarians have you know, it's in this past week, you know, okay, they had a little bit of sunshine with Milan Dobrev 24 hours ago in the 94 kilo class. I think they were looking forward to Chagayev, you know, keeping a bright sky for another day, but not to be. So here comes the world champion, Dennis Gottfried, Olympic champion in Atlanta, but no total in Sydney. And it's interesting that Ukraine hold the world and the European championships, but with two different men. .187.5 opener, good enough. And Dennis Gottfried on his way. And Gottfried, who weighed in at 104.32 kilos, now takes the lead in the snatch away from the man in the B group. That's Ferenc Rukovic, who's got the same weight, David, but weighed 104.36. So Gottfried, a few grams lighter, leads the snatch competition.
So, older brother.
Yeah, he's going to lift out. Yeah, he's going to lift out before his younger brother Marcin starts.
Mind you, the younger brother's strength is the snatch, while Robert's strength is the clean and jerk. So it'll still be an interesting competition, whichever way this snatch event goes.
So Robert Doleja is halted. Halted on 185 kilos. Yeah, in fact, yeah, halted on 185 kilos. But we've got some big weights to come. Now, just looking at the opening poundages, David, world snatch record, 198.5. Marcin Doleja holds both that record at senior and junior level. Here he is on stage. Now, can he get there, or is there anyone else who you think might get there?
Shmurchkov, possibly.
What about our man from Qatar?
Well, it's interesting because he's posted at 185. He's obviously not starting on 185. His warm-up must have gone well. So he's coming in at least 190. So I guess with your normal jumps of 5 and 2, I must be looking for something like 197.5.
So Marcin, just 21 years of age.
Yeah, always takes it almost down to the line. Good start.
He was in the heavier category in the World Student Championships this year, finished runner-up. Well, 190 looked good. Yeah, Shmurchkov, well, you can never quite tell what he's going to be up to. Remember 2 years ago, David, when he emerged from the B group to win the world title?
Yes, well, known for his great snatching ability. He has, of course, snatched 197.5.
.197.5 will put him right on the threshold of the world record. But here is the Qatar representative, Asad Saif Assad. And as I just said, if you were with us right at the beginning, originally known as Angel Popov, represented Bulgaria. So I guess with Chagaev's demise, Bulgarian fans better pin their support on this man. Well, as you said, was 185 entered, moved up to 190, and has got the score on the board. Got the Olympic bronze medal in Sydney for Qatar. Remember, he was part of that $1 million deal, David, that took, can't quite remember, was it 11 athletes or something like that? And of course, Abaziev going to Qatar to coach the men. And it was in Sydney, Tavakoli of Iran who beat Chagaev, who's gone out of today's competition with Assad or Popov in third place.
So, Shmorchkov.
Awful lot of walking about going on, David.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what the reason for that is.
Ranked third in the world. Looking for 420 today. In taking the bronze medal in Loutraki and the Europeans, this notched up 415. Might need a bit more than 415 to win this title or regain the World Championship.
Yes, so again, this is a man whose strength lies in this phase. Not so strong on the clean and jerk. So always relies on getting a big snatch lift in. So I think the bar is going to stay at 190.
Now Pizarevsky trying to repair the damage, David. Look at this, 7.5 kilos increase. So he's trying to, you know, wash out that timed out failure, the first lift. In a way, I do hope he gets this, because well, that was pretty close.
Just shows you though, if you're not on the ball and you get timed out, you miss a lift, you're put into a situation where you have to take chances, and that 7.5 kilo jump was certainly a chance, and a failure of that means that it's really left him, well, out of it. Yeah, you see, at the moment
he probably would have taken if he'd got the 182.5, he'd have probably taken 187.5 and then left himself the third lift. Well, that's a good amount of noise from the Turkish fans.
Well, that's because this is an attempt at a new personal best.
Well, you thought 2.5 kilos, David, but he's gone 5. We're just about to find out whether that's a little over ambitious or not. I don't know.
I think he's capable. It's just getting everything right the first time. Well, 2.5 would have been a better choice. So he remains on 185, which is a weight that he's done for the last few competitions.
Now he's just got to hope they don't get too far away from him. I mean, that's his big concern. I suppose with Chagaev failing all 3 and not being able to get a total, that's one of his opponents that he can not worry about anymore. Dennis Gottfried now world champion. We see him spasmodically, David, don't we? I mean, he goes in and out of competitions. I mean, he's been around for a fair while. He was winning, world titles in 1999 on the eve of the Sydney. And then we didn't see very much of him till last year when he won the 2002 Worlds. 2 out of 2. Not textbook.
No, he's having to correct, but he's doing it. He's taking a few steps forward and managing to hang on to his lifts.
And, you know, with the body weight, 104.32 kilos, he's considerably lighter than Assad of Qatar. He's not lighter than Schwarzkopf, and he's not lighter than Bunyamin Sudas. Bunyamin Sudas, 102.96 kilos. I mean, that could be significant.
Yes, well, Sudas still trying to increase his body weight. Really needs to be training at about 108, so he's got some weight to gain.
What weight was Razorionov due to come in on, David?
187.5.
Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned, actually. I would have thought that we would have seen him by now, and maybe something's gone wrong.
Maybe he's injured himself in the warm-up, or... So, 195 for the younger brother.
Try and find out about Razorionov, because I would have expected him to have been out, David, by now. Unfortunately, we can't see the board in the back room, so...
Do you want me to go and check?
Go.
I'll just nip off and see if I can find anything out about Razorionov.
We've got other means. But that absence means the Ukrainians, if he is injured, then everything's on Gottfried's shoulders. So it's going to be the man from Qatar who comes out. He's got a PB of 192.5 kilos. So this will be a new personal best.
Yes, I can confirm now, David, that Razorionov actually is out of the competition. He's obviously injured himself in the warm-up, so we won't be seeing him.
That's a blow to the Ukrainians now, because as I said, it now leaves a lot of responsibility on Gottfried's shoulders.
Well, that was great lifting from the man from Qatar.
Yeah, 195, and with 104.92 body weight, heavy, right close to the limit. He's got to get these lifts in, but you know, he can have the heavy body weight as long as he lifts. Then he puts the pressure on the rest, and that's exactly what he's done now. Schwarzkopf has got to come and respond to this. Sudas, well, his chance has gone. But of course, Gottfried has still got one more go. And I just thought he was going to steady it enough there in that bottom position to be able to drive up and get the lift. What a pity. So again, Assad now in a stronger position because Schwarzkopf is under pressure, and Assad can now more comfortably wait, David, and see Schwarzkopf try this again before he has to make a decision whether he goes up 2.5 or more kilos.
Well, that's right. There's several men on this weight now. We've got Godfrey, we've got Delasia, and of course the man who just failed it, Schwarzkopf.
So now Gottfried, third and final attempt, 195. This is new territory for him as well. This will be a new PB.
Yes, hasn't been technically as proficient as I've seen him in the past, but he's been hanging on to these weights. He's been doing whatever's necessary, taking a few steps forward if need be.
20 years experience in the sport. Oof, oof.
Oh dear.
Oh, that was horrible.
Well, that's the third time we've seen that happen in this championships, and I can tell you he won't be doing the clean and jerk.
Well, losing both of their men within what, minutes, David, but
I'm really not sure what the reason for the elbow dislocation. I mean, there are championships where we see lots and lots of elbow dislocations, and this is one of them. I mean, we've seen 3 elbow dislocations in this championship, and I don't know what the reason is. And there'll be other championships where we won't see any at all.
Well, they're taking their time now, and slightly happier to see that. I think when you've got an elbow dislocation, actually, it's probably better to let him walk off. Yeah, that's rather than manhandling off. So Doleja now 195, and you've got to say, David, the opposition is falling like flies. Chagayev out, Razarenov not making the stage even, Gottfried injured. So the door is really open for the likes of Marcin Doleja. Needs this though.
Yeah, he needs to get this in because he's not known for his strength in the clean and jerk. Always relies on getting a big snatch lift in. So this is last chance to move forward from that 190 that he started with. And he doesn't do it.
So Assad absolutely in control of this, David. Just a reminder of our website, www.weightlifting.de, and if you'd like to send us an email, we've got one or two that came in overnight, so we will try to get to those. Question@weightlifting.de to either David Morgan or myself, David Goldstrom. Well, so it's been a fairly incident-packed snatch phase here. Schwarzkopf, well, we really need him to do this to put some pressure on Assad.
That's right. Schwarzkopf's weighed in at 104.04, and Assad has weighed in at 104.92. So this would put Schwarzkopf into the lead by virtue of his lighter body weight, and then leave Assad the task of doing 197.5.
And he's done exactly what you were hoping he would do, David. And for me, that was the best of the three snatches that he's done. First one looks a bit strained, a bit nervous, understandable. Second one, technically faulty. But this one here, good power, good fluency, and then steadies and drives up really well. And the positioning is very good. You can see there just hardly half a step forward, and that's the way you're supposed to do it.
And of course, more importantly, it now means that the man from Qatar has to do 197.5 on the last snatch lift of this men's 105 kilogram competition.
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually, David, because Dennis Godfrey, despite that awful elbow problem, is actually in the bronze medal position, something we didn't actually highlight at the moment of the injury, but he's got the bronze medal. Not that that will be much consolation for him.
Well, this again underlines the psychology behind weightlifting. You know, he was up for the 195, but mentally not ready for the 197.5, and it makes you wonder if that rather awful injury that we just witnessed from Dennis Godfried has played on his mind, and he's decided that the silver medal on the snatch is enough, and he'll just leave it there. And I mean, of course, he knows that Schwarzkopf isn't that strong in the clean and jerk, so maybe he thinks, well, I'll leave it on the 195. I won't risk injury, and I'll live to fight in the clean and jerk.
Well, incident-packed it is, and this is the way it ended. It ended with Vladimir Schwarzkopf yet again winning the world snatch title with 195 kilos by virtue of his lighter body weight over Assad, and Dennis Godfried something of a consolation prize with 192.5 kilos ahead of the younger brother Marcin Doleja. And there's the man from the B group there, Ferenc Gurkovic of Hungary there on 187.5. So that's a good effort from him, and also from Burov, also lifting in the B division earlier in the day. Sudas 185, so he's 10s off the pace. Gives him some sort of a chance if he can actually, you know, put a new PB in.
Well, he's got body weight,